Welcome, everybody, to Scott County High School for this afternoon's, Billy Hicks Classic Championship game. We anticipate a good one based on what we've seen so far. Two very impressive teams have made it to the final, as you might expect. A couple that will be in the mix for the 11th Region Championship, we are sure, going down the road. It's the Great Crossing Warhawks coming in with a record of 4-1, going up against the Frederick Douglass Broncos, 3-1. The Broncos, both teams won by 15 points. Very similar games, similar scores last night. 77-62, the score for Douglass over Scott County. They're still working in a bunch of football guys, including two starters that hadn't been with the team until this week because of their 5A state championship run on the gridiron. For Great Crossing, a 75-60 win over Covington Holy Cross, and we just watched and saw, Derek Varney, why that is impressive, because that Holy Cross team can score the basketball, as they say. Jacob Meyer is no joke, 37 points today, and Javier Ward, 28, the MVP of that game, as they have a 1-2 punch there that is going to be very impressive up in the northern corridor. But what are you expecting in this one? Obviously, I think a lot of great athletes, a lot of great talent out here, and it's going to be a physical game.
It really is. That's the first thing I was going to say. It's going to get physical, and I love, hey, we're in December. We got 11th region basketball right here. Isn't that something?
This is
I'm looking forward to it
March
today.
caliber.
Yes,
right
absolutely.
Here.
I mean, as you mentioned, this is two perennial powers, in the 11th region that could very well meet in the finals in late February, early March. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's not the matchup we hoped for in this game. We didn't.
We're homers, and we wanted to see the GCSC Battle of the Birds.
That's exactly
such
right.
as it is.
But did get to see a little bit of Jacob Meyer, and I think you and I had him at Great Crossing. It was either last year or the year before. I think he was a sophomore.
Sophomore year.
That's when I was telling.
He was impressive.
That's when he took off on that dunk that you and I witnessed, and we thought the kid was going to lay it in, and we saw him that night. We knew he was going to be special, but watching him score every time he basically touches the basketball, I mean, that's wow.
He was the best player on a senior-dominated team that year. And then last year he came in here, and they basically kind of were down in the weeds and in the losers bracket, or consolation bracket, we like to say.
Right.
He averaged 45 a game last year in this tournament. Might have been even more than that. It might have been closer to 50. I know it was an incredible amount of points, 145 points, I believe, in the tournament. So, yeah, he is no joke. Great Crossing, no joke, obviously, as both Trey Dawson and Malachi Marino went for 20-plus last night. And they really took over late in that game. They had a 15-point halftime lead, increased to 17 on a three by Gage Richardson early in the third quarter. And then Holy Cross made a run to tie it at 54. Malachi took over with a couple of and ones, and then Dawson, just as he does, got to the basket and put that one away, put the stake in it.
Silky smooth.
He is silky smooth, only a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore, COVID sophomore,
yes.
As it were. They have 4 sophomore starters. Just to review, if you haven't been with us the past couple of years, Malachi Marino, already a half dozen P5, P6 level offers in college basketball. Vince Dawson III will be at that same level as well, as he is a top player in this region. Then you have the three-point shooter, Gage Richardson. And lately, it's been Christian Martin starting in this lineup. They have changed. He's got kind of a two-headed monster, Vinnie Johnson microwave type deal with Janias Burrell and DJ Blunt coming off the bench for Coach Steve Page. And Burrell, I think, finally got things together last night. He had his second double-digit game in his last 3. I'm not 100% sure what's been going on there, but Coach Page has been trying to motivate him a little bit, I think, and it's been working.
Well, as you and I have talked over before in the past, the great motivator is that seated position on the bench.
Bobby Knight has that quote
yes.
that we won't mention here at a family show, but
right.
It applies. There's an amazing translation of your fanny on that seat
yes.
to the brain that's in your head. And
I do think there is more to the Burrell thing, but you know what? Christian Martin, always around the ball, always in the right spot.
Just happy for that kid because he works hard.
No, you're exactly right. You could see frustration, last year, see a little bit at the beginning of this year, and I know the kid's earned it. He works his tail off. unorthodox left-handed player that just gets it done. And you know what? He's being rewarded by being in the starting lineup.
This Frederick Douglass team, Kai Simpson is somebody you got to watch for. We're going to have the anthem here, and also Armello Boone. We'll talk about them after the interlude here for the national anthem. Scott County choir director has sung that anthem nicely now 3 times, 3 consecutive games. He probably did it 4. He might have done it for the morning game as well, but for the 3 that I have been here,
rather effortlessly.
Gotten us, yeah, just cruising right along there. Kai Simpson, we mentioned, Armello Boone. It was really a triple trouble situation last night as Avion Chenault, one of those guys getting a late start, also combined with those 2. Those 3 guys did all the scoring against Scott County in the first half, and I thought really Douglas should have had a bigger lead at the half. They threw the ball away close to the rim an awful lot, and that's their style of play. They run, they press, they get physical with you, they get a lot of runouts, and you got to get back on defense to deal with them.
Yeah, if Douglas does not self-implode like we've seen them over the last couple years, they're very talented. They're going to play a physical brand of ball. You know, I always want to say Boss Boone, but I guess that would be LaMelo's older brother. Is that correct?
I'm not sure of the relation there, but I'm sure it's a family connection, and he is a good one. He's one to watch. I believe he's only a sophomore.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a great crossing. I hope they're up for the physicality of this one. They have to match that physicality and the intensity level that Douglas plays with.
Douglas does not have anybody with the size of Malachi Marino. That's one area where they're different. Tyson Barrett has transferred to prep school. They also had that other tall kid in the middle, the O'Roy Ford young man who was kind of he took up space for them the past few years. He's not there, graduated, so they may have some difficulty dealing with Marino. That's something to watch. This is a Douglas program, of course, with a new head coach. Wes Scarberry was an assistant there, came back from the Richmond area to take over the program after some upheaval in the preseason in the coaching box there. So it's Broncos learning a new system, but not really, because it's a guy they're familiar with.
Right, and that's always a plus for him and for the players. Heck, he doesn't have to. You know, he may put something new in, but the players are familiar with his coaching style, which helps tremendously.
The starters for Great Crossing, they will go with Richardson, Blunt, Burrell, Marino, and I don't see Dawson. Godfrey is out there. That's an interesting scenario. I don't know if that's disciplinary or not. But
somebody might have been a late arrival.
That quite often happens. Yes. It's an automatic. If you are late, you will not start. It happened a couple of times last year to players. And great thing about the way Steve Page runs things, he's no respecter of persons over there. He'll tell you he's got 7 starters.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what he's sticking with here. So we will not see Trey Dawson at the outset of this game. Marino getting ready to jump it, and he wins it to Blunt, quickly to Marino,
nice
finds Godfrey for the easy 2. 6 seconds into the game, GC on top. Quickly down court, as we're going to say a lot for Douglas, but they throw it away. Simpson trying to find Boone, just a misconnection there.
Cal, we need to let the alarm clock go off for Douglas here. That's 2 possessions right there. They didn't have any idea what end they were playing on the opening tap.
They've got to get things figured out in a hurry as they are playing a top 10 opponent here in Great Crossing that's been on a roll.
They come out with the full court 1-2-2.
Burrell at the point, guarded by Chenault, one of their biggest guys. Chenault. Richardson thought about the three, threw it away to Simpson. Simpson quickly, Godfrey trying to get back. Simpson leans his shoulder into him and draws the contact. And Godfrey, with his feet not set, will get called for the foul.
You know, on this end down here, Cal, that wasn't a bad. It was a quick pass from Richardson that Malachi wasn't expecting. He's got to always have his hands up, being ready. Gage Richardson's pretty crafty with the ball.
Quickly inbounds to Logan Busen, another of the football players. They get it to Simpson on the right wing, guarded by Burrell. Right now, Godfrey chasing Chenault. Now they'll switch to Richardson. Burrell on Simpson again. Douglas setting up their half-court offense. Didn't see a lot of that last night as they were running the floor early and often. Boone drives the baseline, almost throws it away, and now he gets the offensive foul. Is stepping in front of him is Gage Richardson. So Coach, that's two quick turnovers on two possessions for the Broncos.
Absolutely. And they seem, I don't know, I said this earlier, they seem a little lethargic right now. I don't know if it's the afternoon 4 o'clock start.
Boone coming up lame with holding his hip. That happened last night. He had a big collision with Lamarion McGrath, and he came up the worst for wear in that scenario as well. Token pressure. They get it across the half-court line. Blunt driving to the hoop, gets it knocked out of his hands. They're going to call a foul on the floor.
Really nice move getting to the bucket there by Blunt. He can do that. I think you don't see it. Basically, he's been a catch and shoot guy, but I think the role that he's in right now and going against the man-to-man defense of Douglas, that they do overplay an awful lot. Going to give him a lot of opportunities to get to the bucket. DJ
can do both. And this is the first free throw. He is also a lockdown defender. He has been instrumental early in the season in helping the Warhawks in that half-court defense. He is a transfer from Bourbon County.
Boone just went to the bench there, Cal. He seems to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, Jaden Dixon checked in for him. He was holding his left hip. Last night, I thought he got hit in just a sensitive area, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And he came out and was quickly right back in the game. But this looks a little different than that. 3-0 as Blunt made the second free throw. Simpson guarded, hounded by Richardson. Now he gets some space, pops, hits the back rim, no good. Blunt rebound. Blunt quickly across the half-court line. In some traffic, gets it to Burrell. GC on top, 3-0 out of the gate. Bounces it into Marino, does Burrell. Marino inside, off the window and good, 5-0.
Great move. They're going to let him catch that play behind him, which you have to. You don't want him to lob it over your head, but Malachi made a great move to the baseline right there.
His footwork has improved so much. And as we said, Douglas doesn't really have a lot of height to deal with him. As there's contact under the basket, will be a foul on Great Crossing.
Second team foul they're on.
Godfrey and now Richardson called for this one. Busen spins on Richardson, kicks it for a three from Chenault, in and out, but a good rebound by Kai Simpson. Off the glass and in, 5:45, and the Broncos are on the board.
That right there is what I think it baffles everybody, that you see Malachi there and you see the kid do what he wants under there for Douglas to put the ball back in the bucket.
Sometimes the ball it's how it comes off the rim to you sometimes too.
Right. And he just when he develops that mentality that I'm going to block everything that's in the lane, he's going to add to his game even more.
Godfrey kick out to Richardson, in and out three. Marino offensive board, spins, puts it back up, no good. Godfrey and Marino reaching, stretching, and it's off the Broncos. It'll be Great Crossing ball. Dawson now will check into the game at the 5:12 mark.
I was going to say, let's see how long Mr. Dawson stays on the bench.
Couldn't stick to that for very long.
No. So right there shows me it had to be a little discipline.
I think so. Just enough to send the message here.
Yep.
Tipped and stolen. Triplett got a hand in there, Eric Triplett, and he will take it to the hoop. Blocked by Marino, rebounded by Richardson. Back come the Warhawks.
Great block. Marino stayed high hands on that one, Cal. Just made it difficult, as it is for anybody to get a shot over him.
It'd be difficult for just about any human being.
Right. That's exactly right.
Douglas working the subs in and out here. They've sent their third different guy to the scorer's table already to check in. Dawson with the ball, guarded by Chenault. Dawson drive to the foul line, kick to Burrell for three. Yes, splashdown for Janias. 4 different Warhawks on the board, 8-2, 3.5 minutes into this one.
Good ball movement right there. I still think they miss Malachi an awful lot on those ball movements. He's got his man sealed off, and the guy's working that hard. Get it to him.
Chenault, foul line, top of the key, blocked by Marino. Burrell hustling for the rebound, picks it up. He's got one man to beat, fakes him, up, and fouled, and Burrell will go to the line. A hard foul, but that's all the defender could do in that situation as Janias had a run out.
And you see how Douglas is a step slow today, Cal.
They are definitely. They had to run hard to beat Scott County. Scott County will work you over.
Yes, they will.
Not to underestimate anything that Holy Cross did last night, as Great Crossing had the late game. So if anything, the disadvantage is for them. But Burrell makes the first free throw, and we've got a timeout on the floor before the second. 9-2, Great Crossing, with 4:12 remaining in the first period. So Trey Dawson just checks in, but so far Marino, Godfrey both on the board. One has a free throw, and Burrell now working on his second that would give him 5 if he makes it.
That is pretty nice luxury. Look down the bench there and have Trey Dawson sitting down there beside him.
And plus you've got Christian Martin. So it's, as we said, a 7-man rotation really here.
Yes.
For Steve Page. In his 4th season, the program's 4th season, they have never lost in this gym. He reminded me of that last night.
I was talking to someone the other day about the atmosphere that night of the opening, the inaugural game.
Wasn't
you
it?
couldn't get another person.
No, there was
gym.
2,500, 3,000 people in here.
That's when that was Mr. Skierman's coming out
yes,
party
4 threes.
Wow.
In his sophomore coming out game, as you said. Burrell made the second free throw, 10-2. At the other end, knocked out of Douglas' hands. They will get an OB underplay. They're trailing by 8 out of the gate here against the highly touted Warhawks.
You don't want to try to play from behind against Great Cross.
Chenault to Jones over in the corner, rather Dixon. Now they'll get it back to Kai Simpson, guarded by Trey Dawson. 2 future D1 players there. There is a 3 from Dixon that's no good. Chasing down the rebound is Martin, who's checked in. Christian Martin drive and kick to Burrell. Burrell steps back. Now he finds Martin behind the arc. He'll work it into Godfrey. Godfrey, good head fake and a dish to Marino, but off of Malachi's fingertips.
A little too much there for Jeremiah. He needs to go ahead and take. He worked his tail off, Cal, to get the ball.
He earned it.
Made a nice catch, and then he wants to pass the ball. Being very unselfish, but not in that situation he shouldn't have been.
Definitely a lot to be said for unselfishness, but you also want to take what they give you early here and build as much of a lead as you can against a very dangerous Douglas team. We know they'll find their way eventually.
They definitely will.
There is a 3 from Chenault that's no good. They haven't been able to connect from outside. Marino pulling down the rebound, got his arms linked up with Logan Busen. They're going to get the foul on Busen. Busen kind of shrugging his shoulders saying, what can I do? Well, there's not much you can do, son. He's 6'11".
You can't, and Logan's doing all he can to use his body and to get into Malachi Marino, and it's just a tough task.
Marino had the rare he was battling somebody that was as tall as he was last night in Sam Gibson of Holy Cross. He shut Gibson out. Gibson got 3 fouls early and was a non-factor. And there is the feathery touch from the right elbow extended for Vince Dawson, the third, 12-2.
And Cal, looking at him, I think he's grown since 3 days ago.
He just has springs. There is a right baseline drive from Jaden Dixon to get the Broncos back on the board, but it's 12-4, 2:37 to play first quarter. Burrell bringing it up at a leisurely pace. Bounces it to Dawson. Dawson spins, foul line. Kicks it inside to Marino. That's just too easy, baby.
You know, and that comes from that nice set offense right there with and that's exactly what you want. You want Vince Dawson going back to the middle, gives him an opportunity to score, and also has a 2-man game there with Malachi Marino.
Simpson three-pointer is off the mark. Short rebound, Marino. Warhawks are all business so far. They said one of their 4 goals for the season is to win the Billy Hicks Classic and have him hand them the trophy. So far, so good.
There's that same play, and they got him wide open.
Martin for 3. Yes. Assist from Dawson. 6 different Warhawks on the board, 17-4.
Great Crossing just looks a whole
And the bench is up and excited about things, and why not? There's a wild
bad
shot
shot.
and off of Dixon to the Warhawks, who lead by a baker's dozen.
Yeah, there's nothing energetic at all about Douglas right now. The majority of them look like they don't even want to be here right now. Well, when you're getting
Yeah, you're getting drummed
like
right
this,
now.
yeah. Everything's coming easy for Great Crossing as well.
Dawson with it, guarded by Busen. Falls down at the foul line, slips it to Martin. It's stolen away by Busen.
Dawson tried to do a little curly kneel there, didn't he?
Sweet Georgia Brown.
That's right.
We've got a foul at the other end as a run out for the Broncos gets stopped by Burrell. Clock stops at 1:20. It's the third team foul, excuse me.
Douglas needs to get back to the hole. They're settling. I understand because of the
they're nervous about going
right,
there.
The neutralizer in there, but they got him pulled out on the court now. So it's exactly what they need to do to get him away from the bucket and go at him.
6'11", 6'7", and 6'5" looking at you. And there is another air ball rebounded by Martin, who almost threw it away. Dawson recovers it. Finds a streaking Godfrey, blocked along the baseline by Chenault. Recovered by Dawson, puts it up in traffic. Can't get it to go, but he'll go to the line as he's fouled with 51.4 seconds remaining in the opening stanza.
Just so many weapons, Kyle. So many weapons. I mean, you make a little pass to Godfrey on the baseline there, and he goes up. I mean, he's way above the rim.
And he's just got constant energy on the floor to Steve Page because he can sub two at a time at all times. He's got Richardson and Blunt coming back in as Dawson misses the first free throw. Burrell will sit down for the first time today, as will Godfrey. Vince Dawson III lit it up last night down the stretch as he and Marino both 20-plus to lock down that 77-62 win over Holy Cross. Makes the second.
And he's got the ability to take over the game at any point. That's not just down the stretch.
He took it over early and he took it over late last night. It was one of those nights where you knew it was going to be a Trey Dawson night, and he had about 8 of the first 12.
And you see what's happening here with Coach Page. Every time down, they're running the handoff to him and the high screen to get him going towards the bucket.
Broncos working it to their man Simpson. The right baseline drive is good. Kai Simpson has 4 of the 6, and they've got to do a lot more of that to get back in this.
He's pretty smooth too.
He is a player, certainly the best player on the court last night that I saw here in the Douglas-Scott County matchup.
Right. They got to know how much time right here.
They've had some issues with that, with the clock awareness. That was a pass that was almost thrown away. Dawson recovered it and got it to Blunt. Blunt finds Martin. Now they'll reset for the final shot. 5 seconds. Dawson.
That's who they want to have it right
Simpson here. Guarding him. Dawson with the drive. The floater from the foul line. Nothing but net at the horn. 20-6.
So smooth. So smooth.
Old school basketball. That's what Vince Dawson III will bring you.
That play at the end of the quarter right there with the last 8 seconds was called get out of the way and let Trey take over right there.
Clear out for Dawson from the foul line.
Cal, after first quarter there, this could be a long night. All indications, not only Douglas not playing well and executing, but Great Crossing is that much better right now.
Getting some stats run up the stairs. We appreciate it, Dustin. Thank you. 3 for 12 is Douglas. 7 for 10 is Crossing. And that's the story right there. Hey, how about this? Rebounds 11-1.
There you go.
One and done.
And I'd be willing to bet the team with 1 rebound is down.
They are down.
About 14 points right now.
They are down. It was 1 offensive rebound for Kai Simpson, and we talked about it when he got the putback. That was going to be a rarity. And Coach Wes Scarberry animated on the Douglas sideline. Right now, he's just not seeing the effort. His team expended a lot of it last night, and we might be seeing the fruits of that.
That would, if I was Coach Scarberry, that'd be my main concern right now. Is guys, you got to put your foot on the gas a little bit. We're playing.
As opposed to Great Crossing, which is going to put the foot on the throat if you're not careful.
Well, sure. And we're playing not only one of the top teams in the 11th region, one of the top teams in the state. I mean, how much more motivation could Douglas need today?
You could need none more
Right.
than that. And they are trailing by 14, 8 minutes into it. Simpson now trapped by Marino and Blunt. Finds a way to get it to Busen. Busen the drive and the kick to Simpson for three. Blunt was late to close, but he missed it short. Dawson with the rebound.
Just no leg.
Dawson just pushing the tempo, and Marino with the tried to clean up dunk and missed that. He missed the dunk last night as well. Rare for him. And a run out for number 25.
Nice 2-on-1 break right there, Cal. Douglas caught Malachi under the rim and took advantage of the fast break.
That's Terry Kaysen on. I didn't even have him on my roster. And Marino loses it out of bounds.
Yep. No foul there. He just lost it. He's looking for a foul, but they continue to get very physical on this end with Malachi, as is what you have to do, because at this point he still doesn't like to mix it up a whole lot. Everything kind of comes natural and being bigger than everybody else. And he's got good skill.
Skills to pay the bills.
Yep, absolutely. Just that wingspan. He can cover the whole lane.
Boone back in the game after that scare in the first quarter. Busen with a strong take, but Marino was there to distract him, and he missed it. Richardson the rebound. Richardson using an arm bar to get rid of the defender, takes it back from Dawson for a three. And Scarberry just got either a bench warning or a technical. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, he was yelling in the referee's face. You know what? As he should. Gage Richardson just chucked the defender there, one of Douglas's players, and
he stiff-armed him. No, it was just a bench warning.
Okay, it was a bench warning.
He pointed at him, which you get a little leeway now if you're a coach, which I like, because I think sometimes in a situation like that as a coach, you got to have the ability to make your presence known. Busen for three, way long, but Simpson on the backside for the rebound.
Great pass by Busen there.
The assist from the defensive back who had a pick in the state semifinal against Owensboro. Defensive struggle that was. Marino just an easy spin for two in reply, 25-10.
Just not much you can do about that. You try to push him up above the block where he does have to put the ball on the floor and make his own move.
Missed. Martin the rebound. That's pretty much on replay right now.
Wow.
Douglas missed and a rebound and an easy, uncontested, doesn't get any easier layup for DJ Blunt. His first field goal of the game makes it 27-10. Drive and dish, and Douglas puts that one up and in for Simpson, who has 8 of the 12,
nice
27-12.
Busen right there, and he threw it right around Malachi there. They need to get some stops on this end. Everything's too easy, such as that.
Marino, he couldn't decide if he wanted to dunk it or lay it in, and he did neither. Missed that one from close range.
The smallest man on the floor came over and distracted Malachi right there. Look who Malachi is guarding.
Malachi Marino, the smallest guy. That was the guy they put in the game last night to get in Daquise Brown's head, and it worked. They both picked up 3 fouls in the first half. That's number 25, Terry Kaysen. And dishing it, throwing it off of great crossing is Busen to keep it alive. 27-12, 4:51 to play second quarter. Chenault checks back in for Douglas, Burrell, and Godfrey for crossing.
Great crossing just looks awfully fresh. They're fresh because they go deep on that bench. They've been a step ahead of Douglas since the opening tap.
Yeah, literally the opening tap. 5 seconds. 3 for Simpson, in and out. Richardson rebound. They have just locked it down on the defensive glass with the exception of a couple of buckets by Simpson down there. Nobody else is grabbing offensive rebounds for Douglas. Lob into Dawson. He moved both feet, moved his pivot foot. No get called for the travel. Georgetown men's basketball wins today, 64-52, a comeback over Campbellsville.
So they started a little slow, right?
They were sluggish, 5 for 22 in the first half. No, it was even worse than that. It was like 7 for 31.
And you get a win
Yeah,
That's nice.
that's good. They are a streaky team like that. They are a tale of two halves sometimes in both directions. Drive for Chenault. Offensive foul drawn by Christian Martin,
Yeah,
who's good at that.
he and Gage Richardson, it seems like they both put that in their game where they both take a charge. And you know what that does? It just fires everybody up around you. I mean, it takes the other team's momentum away because, right there would have been a bucket. But then it just gets your team so fired up.
Just about halfway through the second period, Dawson thought about a three. Now he'll drive and kick to Burrell for one. Yes, sir. Burrell's second bonus ball of the half, and it's 30-12.
Tell you what, Burrell's always had a nice stroke.
Floater for Simpson is good. He has 10 of the 14 now.
Yeah, they're gonna tell him just continue doing what you're doing, Kai, and we're gonna try to get you in the lane. And they're trying to take advantage of with Malachi being out right now.
Christian Martin, a left-handed three. He hasn't missed many shots of any distance this year, but he missed that one off the rim, and the rebound comes down to Simpson, who fought Godfrey successfully for it.
Wow, I mean, I'm talking the smallest guy on the floor. He's 5'2", maybe.
Slight. There's a miss by Simpson, but he gets it back off someone else's offensive rebound. Missed the layup. They're discombobulated when they go underneath the basket. They know there's going to be height there. Godfrey with the jump stop off the dish. The dime from Burrell.
Loved how he used his body and his left hand on the left side. Very nice.
Godfrey so vastly improved this year, 32-14. There is a catch and shoot three that is nowhere near the mark. Martin with the rebound. Dawson bringing it up slowly for the Warhawks. It has been all Warhawks, 32-14, 2:40 to play in the first half.
Very impressive, Cal. Very impressive on a Saturday afternoon.
Half of a tough late Friday night game. Dawson for three off the mark. Rebound, Richardson, and he will go to the line as he gets the better of that contact. Gage Richardson doesn't take a lot of twos, but he had one there that he earned off the glass.
And Mr. Dawson is human because I've never in 3 years now
seen him take a bad shot.
Well, it wasn't even, seen him miss that bad.
Yeah,
basically.
Bricks are rare for Trey. Richardson makes the first free throw. They get after him about getting aggressive and getting to the rim. He doesn't settle for as many threes as he used to.
Right.
He did there, certainly. That one wasn't necessarily within the flow. Richardson in and out on the free throw. So it's a 19-point lead, largest of the half. Busen guarded by Marino up top. He will get rid of it. Smart to do when you're being guarded by Marino. Busen spin, up and under. Marino made him miss and got the rebound, and Burrell on the run.
Makes a lot of people miss.
Just makes a lot of people look bad.
Right, just the presence.
You just got to stand there. 6'11" without the hair, and there is a turnover going back the other way with a nice, easy, would have been a nice, easy lay-in, but missed it. Douglas got the offensive rebound. It's a rarity. Busen gets fouled and will go to the line. Triplett made the steal, but missed the bunny. Richardson gets called for his second foul, the team's fourth, 1:50 to play in the half. Pearson free throw is good, his first point.
He's had quite a few attempts, he just hadn't had one fall.
33-15. Great crossing on top. Make it 16 as Busen makes both from the line. 1:50 to go. Quickly up to Blunt. To John Blunt, senior, lone senior on this team, which is scary.
Very much so.
Dawson tried to get it into Godfrey now. Skip past the Blunt.
Oh, that's a great pass.
Forced it into Godfrey. Just didn't. It was a great pass, but a little too much mustard.
Yes.
And losing it out of bounds, but off of Marino's hands, so Douglas will keep it.
Made it a great pass to me because I didn't see what he was looking at.
Yeah, he was.
Sometimes you can see it coming and see it develop. I didn't see that one. Godfrey didn't either.
Blunt does the no-look thing quite a bit,
yep.
Which you got to be ready for it. Busen gets it to the rack for his first field goal of the game.
That was a fantastic move.
They've cut it to 15. Douglas making a little run. Wes Scarberry trying to exhort them, clapping the hands together. Burrell gets knocked down, and it will be a 1-on-1. The foul on Dixon. Janias Burrell with 8 points to lead the Warhawks here. He got his first start in a while.
I think we'll see that change. I really do. I don't know.
What
happened.
He's going to be in the lineup.
Yes.
He is a guy. He's been a mainstay here for 3 years.
And he's a gamer. He really is. He's a gamer.
He shows up in the biggest games.
Yes.
Showed up last night for sure. And today already with 9 to lead Great Crossing. At the line for a second. Missed that one to put himself in double digits. Rebound comes down to Douglas. Bounce pass inside. Triplet found Marino and lost it. Threw it away to Dawson. Dawson loses it out of bounds, however, and Douglas will get it back. 50.6 ticks on the clock here in the first half. It's 34-18 Warhawks. Simpson took a brief breather. He'll check back in. He's got 10 of the 18.
Yeah, they can't afford to have him on the bench too long.
No, they cannot, as he is a high-level player.
He is.
Reminds me a lot of Deshaun Jackson.
Yes.
Reminds me a lot of. He's a little broader shouldered than the young man Marquez Warwick from Henry Clay, who is lighting it up at Northern Kentucky now. But that same kind of talent out of Lexington in the young Simpson. That's a three that missed and rebounded by Blunt.
I'm kind of impressed with Boone as well. I'm sorry to see that he got injury there.
Mello Boone, he came back in briefly and checked back out again. So he is somewhat struggling after the hard contact for the second day in a row. Warhawks will be content to get one shot here, down to 15 seconds. Pretty fast-moving first half.
Let's see if they get it to
Burrell, he's not content. He will kick it to Blunt for 3 at the 10-second mark, and DJ drains it.
May have been a little soon, but you know what? Good shot.
Simpson from deep. No, way off the mark, and it is all Warhawks in the first half. Your score, Great Crossing 37, Frederick Douglass 18. More than doubled them up.
Yes, they have. Yeah, this one has potential to get out of hand. I think we're going to see we'll see a run from Douglas just because they're fighters. You know, they
are not as physical today as they were last night. It is just not working for them.
And it's amazing how we saw it from opening tap when you have no idea what end you're going to and you give up an opening tap layup.
Yeah, they were down 5-0 before they could blink.
Yes, 2 possessions.
Thank you, sir. We got the stats. Kai Simpson leads all scorers with 10. No surprise there, but the rest of his team has 8. Houston 4, Dixon 2, Kaysen 2 for the total. 26.7% from the field are the Broncos, 8 for 30. They have turned it over only 4 times. Great Crossing, the only negative for them, they've given it away 10 times. But they have shot 61.9%. And they have out-rebounded Frederick Douglass 23-9.
Yeah, if you're trying to find anything negative with Crossing, it's tough to do. And if it is, it's those, it's the 10 turnovers in the first half.
Janias Burrell with 9 points. Malachi Marino, 6 points, 6 boards, 3 blocks. DJ Blunt, 6. Trey Dawson, 5. Gage Richardson, 4. Christian Martin, 3. And a partridge in a pear tree. That's 37 points for the Warhawks. 7 assists on 13 made field goals, 4 of those from Dawson, 2 from Burrell, another from Marino.
Cal, just want to say that they are honoring the man at midcourt right
The
now.
Man, the myth, the legend. And let's not forget Betsy. It is not.
That was the legend part.
That was the legend. Yeah, exactly. He's the man and the myth. She's the legend. Yep. And then Weiler, the grandson, down there, getting some airtime.
Yeah, this is one that is going to require us to both stand. Just for the respect that I have for Coach Hicks, and just a wonderful man. Just a wonderful man.
A saint
Has nothing to do with basketball. He is a great, great human being who has had such a positive effect on many, many kids' lives.
And many adults.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Billy Hicks, 1,013 official wins in the KHS AA record book. He will tell you there's about 50 more that were taken away from him. Down at Everett's.
And if anybody hated that moment,
He hated it.
was Coach
He's
Hicks. He
not
does
about the recognition.
He does not like that at all.
His retirement was not an announcement. It was him calling me on the phone saying, "Hey, can we sit down and talk sometime this week?" He didn't want it to be.
No.
He whispered in someone's ear after the state game against Trinity, and it became kind of a public before that. He hated that part of it. He figured he was going to be able to remain anonymous for a while, but
well, we all hated it too.
It was a tough deal.
But happy for my man Tim Glenn, always.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Glenn has, it's an impossible situation. You never want to be the man who follows the man, but he came right out and won an 11th region title.
I was going to say, it's a pretty strong way
the fourth in a row.
Yes. Man, what an emotion.
That was just special. And things, you want to talk about things we hate, that team didn't get its chance to go to Rupp because they were on a roll.
And had a great draw.
And a phenomenal draw.
Yes,
I had them getting back to the state game.
Yep. And I think the way they were playing, regardless of the draw, I think the way they were playing at that point, when you had you had a Division I player in Taryn Hamilton and had guys that just finally hit their stride. And I'm talking McCaleb Coffey.
Yes.
Remember when that started in the district? His district tournament all the way through the regional tournament was just unbelievable.
He was a man among boys at times.
He
was just he was an enforcer.
And
he was kind of their DJ Blunt.
You're exactly right. And he made you and I scratch our heads a lot that year just by knowing the talent that the kid had, but you just never knew night in and night out what you were going to get.
Great Crossing girls up 24-11 over West Jessamine late in the first half of the third place girls game. It's kind of anticlimactic that they're playing it right now. It was nice to get the girls and the boys championship separate. I kind of thought they would be in the same building when that happened, but this thing is a work in progress. This is only the third time maybe that it's been hosted at both sites. We lost the one a couple of years ago to COVID.
Right.
So it's a lot still fluid, and they will get it figured out as to how to make it better and better and bigger and better and better.
And I think they will. I mean, I love that they put Coach Hicks' name on it. I absolutely
The Billy Hicks Classic presented by Bluegrass Orthopedics. Now in its 27th season. They keep saying the inaugural Billy Hicks Classic. I think you got to call it the 27th almost annual.
Right.
Actually, it is annual because we had one in February or January of 2020. Yes. And then we had one in December of 2021.
Right.
So even though we missed the December one the previous year, it worked out. So we've had one in every calendar year. So some district games coming up. We're going to be back on the air here on the network Tuesday night, I believe, for a doubleheader as Western Hills will be coming to face Great Crossing. I probably won't see you again until the new year.
That's exactly.
I think that's going to be actually our last game on the network before Christmas.
We go on Christmas break.
We do, but these teams don't. There are tons of tournaments. This Great Crossing team next weekend will be playing in none other than the king of the Bluegrass. And if they get past Spencer County in the first round, it certainly looks like they will play Clark County in the semifinals on Sunday night over there at Fairdale. And I will be making the trip over for that one.
I believe I will too. And that's next week or the week after?
That is next weekend. They'll play Spencer County on Saturday and then the game against GRC.
Sorry, Cal. I won't be able to join you for that one. I will be in Madison Square Garden for
the
UK.
Garden.
I'll be for UK and UCLA game.
Well, that's a good excuse. I think.
Yes. Or I would definitely be. I've made that trip to Fairdale many years to watch the King of the Bluegrass when that was. I don't know if it still is invitation only, and it was really top teams in the state is what it was, and usually the invitations were determined the year before when they saw what everybody had coming back and they knew that.
And if that's one thing I would say is another suggestion here for this tournament is to hopefully next year there'll be a little more of that, as we had some pretty weak first round matchups. But I think as the tournament's gone on, the cream has risen to the top.
Yes.
And it's balanced itself out, and we've had some great games on both sides of the bracket, both the championship bracket and the consolation. Franklin County and Lafayette went to overtime on the boys' side today.
I did see that on Twitter. I saw where Surratt hit a last-second shot. Is that right?
That was yesterday against Moore. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Lafayette's had some nice games in this tournament. That's a young team. It's got a new coach and is on the rise.
Yeah,
so definitely would be. I know Billy himself, now that his name's on it, is wanting to start a committee to kind of beef up the level of competition. I mean, people talk about the out-of-state teams. I don't know if we'll ever get that with this time slot just because it's in early December.
Right.
And it's hard to get teams out of school for a 5-day event or even a 4-day event if you're talking about the boys. But certainly you could get the best from this area if you work at it. And I think they will.
Oh, I think they'd be a lot of teams be honored to be invited to play in Georgetown, not only against to make possibility of facing Scott County, but Great Crossing as well.
I mean, you got a lot of tournaments, but this tournament's kind of an OG in the area. I mean, there's other ones that pop up and are a big deal.
The Catholic Christmas tournament, the Fifth Third or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, that's had any number of bank sponsors over the years, and I believe Scott County's playing one at Lexington Christian next week. It's actually early the following week, so the first week of Christmas break. Scott County girls are kind of taking the Christmas time off. They'll be off for about 9 days. The Great Crossing girls playing in a couple of events. They've got one at Montgomery County, which I think will be on NFHS if y'all want to peek in, and also at Whitefield Academy over in Louisville.
Right.
So some good Christmas time basketball that we won't be calling the action, but we will certainly be there and be tuned in, and we invite you all to support these teams as we've got 4 of them playing some good basketball. I was impressed with the Scott County girls today. They've been down and young, and they played a game with Simon Kenton that reminded me of some of those old Simon Kenton games when they had a stacked roster. It was physical, it was tough, and they fought back and made it a 10, 12-point game at the end.
If I'm not mistaken, you and I did Scott County Simon Kenton when Morgan DeFore had the
Donnybrook. She had the 56 against Great Crossing, I believe. But that was in that same tournament where they had, I believe it was the final, where they beat Simon Kenton. That one might have gone to overtime, now that I think about it. They had a game with Ryle also.
That was it. That was it.
Bad battle. I mean, it was just back and forth.
Yes.
That was the Ryle team that was on the rise to a state championship a couple of years later. Man, there was some good girls basketball played in this building. And that's why I think it'd be good to get those championship games back under the same roof.
I agree.
As time goes by.
That's the only thing that I have that I don't like, and it's only my opinion, is the 2 gyms because
and that's going to prevail. I do like that they staggered the local teams as much as possible this year. I was pretty adamant about that. And today, honestly, worked out well for me today because we've had back-to-back here.
That's right.
With local teams in the gym. Great Crossing with the ball to open the second half. Burrell finds Richardson. Now to Dawson. Dawson with the pink sneakers at the foul line. Gets it into Godfrey. Godfrey spins over, around, and through Busen to lay it in. He's got 6. 21-point lead, biggest of the game. Block Marino.
Yeah, I don't
Rebound Marino.
Got to question what that kid was thinking.
Burrell floater, missed it. Rebound to Douglas. Darion Talbert is in there, and still no Mello Boone. He was scoreless in the first half and is not starting the second half. Talbert rolls it off the rim, no good. Marino rebound. Warhawks bringing it up slowly. They are in command. 39-18.
Even when Douglas is getting something easy, it's not easy. It's not falling.
Dawson, Burrell, Marino. Taking candy from a baby. They will grab him on the wrist and not let him lay it in.
Right.
Richardson to inbound at the 7-minute mark. 1 minute into this second half. Richardson, easy. Dawson, uncontested. They lull you to sleep thinking they're going to lob it into Marino, but lo and behold, you got another D1 prospect all alone.
That Marino is also a nice decoy.
He is,
Big
and so
time.
is Godfrey,
Yes,
for
he
that
is.
matter.
Yes, he is.
This whole team is 6'4" and up, except for Burrell right now on the court.
Yeah,
Kai Simpson guarded by Dawson. Gives it to Triplett. Now Busen right baseline drive on Richardson. He'll draw the contact and go to the line at 6:28 to go.
that's where, Cal, if you notice right there, the baseline drive, Malachi was around the free throw area just kind of watching. That's where he needs to, and he'll learn that. He'll do that. Where somebody's driving baseline, he can take one step and just wipe that off the board.
Christian Martin will check in for Gage Richardson, who just committed his third foul. Busen leaves the first one short. He'll have another. Christian Martin, sophomore. Giannis Burrell, sophomore. Gage Richardson, sophomore. Vince Dawson, the third, and Malachi Marino, sophomores. Junior is Godfrey, and the only senior in the seven-man rotation is DJ Blunt. Houston missed both free throws, but fighting for the rebound is Chenault.
Godfrey didn't find somebody.
Simpson through the lane and an easy lay-in. You don't see many of those against Great Crossing.
He's strong.
He's
got the body
to
do that against Malachi. He does. If you have a thicker, stronger
thick
body,
upper body.
Right.
Spent some time in the weight room, that young man has. Burrell at the foul line, gets it to Dawson behind the arc. Back to Burrell, who's hit 2 threes already. He'll step inside the arc, leave that one and roll it in. Thought he was going to leave it short.
It's that soft
when you're hot,
touch
you're hot.
right there, baby.
11 points for Janias.
Wow.
Long pass to Chenault, but missed the layup badly. Marino rebound. Outlet to Burrell. Warhawks pouring it on. Marino reaching for the rebound as Burrell missed it. Burrell got it back, lobs it into Dawson. Dawson stops on the baseline. And contact down there. They will inbound it. Foul on Chenault.
One thing Trey does, Cal, if you notice, sometimes he gets caught in that position a lot. He'll go in and take that dribble and doesn't know if he's going to turn left or right.
As time goes by,
Yes.
he will mature right out of that.
Absolutely. There's that play again.
Dawson left it short on the layup. Little better defense that time, and they get a run out for Simpson. Simpson has 14 of the 22. Wes Scarberry will ask for a full timeout. But it is all GCHS.
Indeed.
With 5:30 to play in the third quarter. Great Crossing trying to become the 10th different champion of this tournament in its 27-year history. Of course, 17 of those, the home Scott County Cardinals, and then you have a bunch, 8 others. Actually, they have 18 titles, and then 8 others have won 1 each. Most recently, last year, South Laurel. Douglas won the 2020. Let's go back through the honor roll over the years as I typed it up last night for my own amusement.
Right.
As it is a nice little walk through history. Lake Brantley, Florida, 2016. Montgomery County, 2013. GRC, 2011. Dixie Heights, 2003. In the first 2 years, Madison Central and Bryan Station won it back-to-back before SC in that 98 championship season finally got its first of many.
And those inaugural years, that's when the powerhouses from out of other states were coming in.
Yes, they were trucking them in.
Yes, they were.
Left and right. Tom Hendricks has had a leisurely, he hasn't had to do the stats this week, so he's up here joining us.
Feel good.
Janias Burrell with it for GC. Lobs it to Godfrey. Godfrey spins the hook, can't get it to fall. Simpson had the rebound, lost it. There's a scramble on the floor. Douglas ties it up and calls another timeout. They will spend their third of their 5 and their second in short order with 5:11 to go in the third quarter.
Are they giving that possession?
Yeah, I was just going to let it slide.
That drives me crazy.
21-point game. There's 2 things I dislike is that, and then the coach being able to call the bailout timeout. I'm not a fan of that. Half the time they don't hear it anyway.
Right.
But that's just taking the kids out of the equation. Halftime over at Crossing, the Lady Warhawks up 28-17 over West Jess.
As the little man for Douglas comes back in. I mean, he makes Janias look tall.
He does. He can hide out there.
But he's out there for a reason.
Brings just some energy.
That's right. He's earned it.
Douglas with some clean uniforms in there right now. The little man will take a three. He'll miss it long. Terry Kaysen, but Gibson gets it back.
Yep.
For another putback. Simpson, 16 for Kai Simpson. And now we've got blood. We got a bloody lip maybe from Marino.
As I always say, Cal, take the ball up through their chin. And that's exactly what the veteran Simpson did.
I guess he's going to stay in the game, so the ref didn't see any blood. Dawson gets it to Burrell across the timeline. Burrell finds Dawson. Martin in the corner. Back to Dawson. Dawson driving kick to Martin. Martin inside to Marino. Marino, flop.
Yep.
And they'll get called for it. Ryan Carter.
Yep. As he should have. That wasn't even close.
4:20 to play in the third quarter. 19-point lead for the Warhawks, who have the ball. Martin to inbound it from underneath the basket. Bounces to Dawson yet again. Dawson spins. Hook.
Nice.
Good.
Beautiful.
Trey with 9 points, and it's a 21-point advantage.
You get him anywhere in that area, it's a bucket.
Almost unstoppable.
It's a bucket.
Only he can stop himself down there. Steal by Godfrey. This may be a dunk.
Oh.
Yo! Send it in, Jeremiah!
Oh. Jeremiah
Tomahawk City.
Jeremiah was a dunker. A good friend of mine.
Had some mighty fine dunks. And a block for Marino. Dawson with the rebound. Showtime for the Warhawks with 3:44 to play, third quarter.
Cal, that wasn't just a dunk. He hammered that.
That was,
Wow.
please hammer, don't hurt him.
He hammered that.
Janias Burrell with the ball, guarded by Kaysen. Gets it to Dawson. Dawson, there was a bailout foul for Simpson as Dawson was about to lose it.
It was. I don't like him catching. If you saw that play right there, Cal, he was catching it with his back to the bucket. I like when he curls around and he's going downhill to the basket.
Dawson, feathery. And they have, again, more than doubled up the Broncos, 49-24.
And it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it is. They have waved the flag. The only guy that seems to be playing real hard right now is Kai Simpson, who scores again.
He's smooth, very smooth. Burrell from deep.
In and out, rebound, long rebound for Trey Dawson, who will take it. Misses short. Burrell hustling. Douglas tips it to
Nice
Marino. Back cut for Martin. And a follow, a dunk for Godfrey. Back to back. I'm telling you what, Jeremiah Godfrey has arrived.
Yes, he has. He struggles to put the ball in the basket, but not that way. He's like, you know what? Here's how I'm going to put it in the basket.
You try and stop it.
I'm going to hammer a couple. I'll make sure it stays down in the net.
In the space of about 45 seconds, Godfrey with a steal and a tomahawk, and then on a possession where all five Warhawks touched it, and Burrell and Dawson missed three-pointers and Martin missed the layup. Godfrey didn't miss. 51-26, 2:42 to play, third quarter. With 60% of precincts in, we are projecting Great Crossing as the 27th Billy Hicks Classic champion.
Yes.
It's just a matter of how much.
I have a good feeling about it.
As businesslike as I have seen this team. Just they have the game face.
They do. And as businesslike as they are, again, from opening tap, Douglas
Just
did
looks
not have it.
uninterested.
They did,
And I that's hard to. I've never seen that from a Douglas team in any sport in any year, even their inaugural year where they struggled a little bit in basketball. We'll say one thing: Kai Simpson has played hard. He has 20 of the 28.
Yeah, he's a player.
He will play. He's a D1 player. There's no question in my mind.
Trey doesn't need to dribble that. He needs a turn. Boom.
Oh, 3 in a row for Godfrey from Martin. And the entire bench stands and applauds.
Hey, he's got that move down, Cal. He's got that one down. Well, he's just a sparse crowd, but they're electrified.
And we've got a foul up top. Loose ball. Busen recovers. He's played hard too. Give it up for Logan Busen. He has 6 of the other 10 that Simpson doesn't have for Douglas. 53-30.
Again, with more maturity, I think Malachi takes that off the board, Cal. It's too easy.
Yeah. Granted, 23-point game. Get it into Godfrey. Why not? He'll kick it out to Burrell, and Burrell will hold it for a second. Now a drive and just a grab from Kaysen. Kaysen wants an arm bar, but he's going to get called for the foul. (53-30), minute 36 to play, third quarter. Warhawks in front of the Broncos. Burrell will shoot 1 on the bonus.
Burrell's played it.
Godfrey and Burrell have had their best games of the year.
He's been very steady.
Dawson and Marino have done Dawson and Marino things, but they haven't had to be the show. Blunt's had some nice moments, and Martin especially passing the basketball. And we've got another timeout. I think this one will be Steve Page. Crossing will call a 30 here. They'll get to district play on Tuesday night against the Campbells and Western Hills.
Yep.
They've been a little slow out of the gate this year. Not sure all of what's going on there. They've had some upheaval in their athletic department, obviously, as just this week it was announced that Simon Vanderpool, the former defensive coordinator at Great Crossing, is the new head football coach
at
Western Hills.
Nice.
And Paul Raines has been named defensive coordinator at LCA, back to one of his old haunts.
Huh?
You can't keep a good man retired.
Right.
Paul Raines will call the defensive shots for the Eagles next year. So there's some off-season football news for you on the Great Crossing family. Vanderpool went down and helped out Jason Chappell at North Laurel this year. Martin the Lob trying to get Godfrey for a 4th consecutive dunk, but lost it to Douglas. Marino is going to get called for the foul at the other end as he had no choice. He was beaten by Dixon.
Well, if Malachi just gets right there, just makes it difficult. He anytime you bring your arm down, no matter how tall you are, you're going to get called.
That's his first foul.
Yep.
He does.
Yep, he does.
He has good body control, as his big brother did. Doesn't foul out of many games, if any.
Right.
I don't believe I ever saw Michael foul out of a high school game.
No, and
a couple of games ago, Eastern played somebody. I can't remember. It was one of their bye games where they went on the road, and he had 3 fouls in the first half. James Madison. And I was like, I have never seen that. 3 fouls in the first half. Out of Michael. And then he didn't pick up another one. Free throws for Dixon. He made 1 of 2. 53-31. Now some pressure in the backcourt. Is Douglas playing hard now?
Yep, they are.
They've had moments. He's had to find the right combination to do it, but they break the press for a Marino flush from Burrell. Fire Slamma Jamma. has come to Great Crossing.
That one doesn't get as big a roar because they're expected.
No.
That's expected, and we see
You
that quite
expect
often.
it out of 6'11" off the press breaker.
Yep, we see that quite often.
Up and under,
Nice.
and good. Nice move for Noah Jones to get on the board. And a nice move by Blunt at the other end. Carbon copy. Blunt has 8, 57-33. 34 seconds played, third quarter. Spin and a Euro by Busen, who left it short on the layup.
Busen puts everybody in the spin cycle.
He does.
Every time
spin,
he
likes the spin. Marino
Yes.
got the board. He's got to be in double digits there. Dunk was his 7th and 8th points, and now GC going to play for the final shot of the third quarter. Maybe not. Burrell takes it up, bounces it to Marino for another. 5 dunks in the third quarter for the Warhawks, who are on top by 26.
Yeah, this one's all Warhawks.
Strong take and a miss for Jones at the horn. 59-33.
Yeah, this one.
This one's left me a little speechless.
Yes. I thought we'd really see just a good old-fashioned 11th region battle today, getting up down the floor and a lot of big shots. And that has happened, but it's been one-sided. We've seen a lot of good stuff out of Crossing.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good stuff.
5 dunks in the quarter from Marino and Godfrey.
Yep.
But I like what we've seen Burrell. He had the assists on a couple of those. He has 4 today. Balance, 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 Daniel Son. 12 for Godfrey, 11 for Burrell. Dawson with 11, Marino with 10, and 8 for Blunt. Richardson with a quiet 4. He hasn't taken only 2 shots
trouble
today. He's been in foul trouble.
Yep.
And Martin with 3, but 4 rebounds. The board's 33-16. They haven't leveled out at all. 8 minutes away from the title. The belt.
The ship.
The ship. Bragging rights for a year. First of what they hope will be several tournament titles this year. They're going down the Smoky Mountains at Christmas time after the King of the Bluegrass.
That's the same. That's not
different tournaments.
Okay.
It's kind of like in the same city. I don't know if it's the same tournament, 2 brackets like the Phil Knight Classic or what it is, but they're not in the same side of things.
Gotcha.
Same part of the world. Dollywood area. There's a drive by Dawson and blocked out of bounds. It will stay with the Warhawks. 7:42 to play. Dawson looking, finds Richardson inside the arc for a change, and it's good. Gage has 6. 61-33. Never imagined this one getting close to running clock territory.
No.
I certainly expected Great Crossing to win and win impressively, but even doing so against a team of Douglas caliber, I figured that'd be a 10, 12-point margin.
Nice move.
Nice shot. Spin, as you said, by Busen. He's got 8. Spun from the foul line that time. DJ Blunt with it. Closely guarded by Jones. And leaning on Jones. They're going to get Jones for the foul on the floor. Clock stops at 7:09, and they'll be shooting free throws with the Warhawks, as that is the 7th team foul. We won't be presenting the player of the game. They'll be presenting it on the court along with the all-tournament and MVP after the game. So we will make it a short sign-off today once we get to that point, as Blunt makes the first free throw. And I'll get down there for the photos and the hugs and interviews and all that. I assume the man and the myth himself will be around to present the trophy, as Blunt is now in double digits with 10 after sinking both of those. Should be 63-35, I believe. And now they've got it. Now they've got it messed up. Busen drive and kick. And the Broncos will reset it. Back cut, layup, no good. A rebound, Marino, as they missed it at the point of attack. Dixon had a shot. Now dribbling all around creation is number 10 in the game for the first time, Jamari Mason. He will give it up and lose it for a reverse layup for Noah Jones. So some subs we haven't seen yet.
Right. They're going to have to
step it up to the level of that the Broncos are playing at. I thought Mason slipped and traveled. So did Wes Scarberry. He got it to Richardson. Martin for a three, long. Tipped out of bounds by Dawson. Will go to Douglas.
I like Gage Richardson kind of passed up a shot to get a better someone that was more open than him, and that's something you wouldn't see from him before.
And Steve Page quickly getting Mason out of there and Burrell back in. You don't want to take any chances with an explosive team like Douglas, regardless of how the tone of this game has been. Dribbling behind his back is Jones. That was a big league move. Noah Jones with 6. Strong take. Burrell loses Jones, dribbles it into the key, and now gets it back from Richardson. Finds Martin on the left side into Marino. Marino in traffic left it short. Gets the rebound over the top. It's a tie-up. Will stay with great crossing. Martin to inbound. He'll find Marino. Not the decoy this time. The and one. Marino, 12 points.
A lot of things you can do on that out of bounds under there, Cal. With
they've got choices, options.
Yes, sure do.
Great Crossing is going to go to 5-1 on the season, and they will be certainly locked into that statewide consensus top 10. There'll be an AP top 10 this week, and you doggone better believe they'll be in it.
Yes, sir. As they deserve to be.
Yeah, they are. It's right now, both Great Crossing and Madison Central have been impressive in the 11th. Douglas, until today, was certainly in that mix as Avion Chenal gets his first 3 points of the game on a right corner three, 66-42. Burrell. He'll just dribble around for a while, no hurry. Dawson with it.
They need to continue to run offense.
We've got a foul away from the ball. Locked up are Busen and Marino, and they'll call it on the 24 from Douglas.
Yeah, Busen's still trying to get very physical with.
He's trying to get right in Malachi's grill, which is an interesting strategy. Bold strategy, Cotton.
Not many can reach his grill.
No. Mr. Busen can't either, but he's trying.
Right.
He can look at his chest. 1-1 for Malachi. Rolls in. Nope, didn't roll in the first. Rolled off. Rebound, Kai Simpson. 3-point attempt is good. Jack Nagog cuts it to 21.
Seems like that there's that other gear, although Douglas is down, and it happened at the beginning of the game. You know, they're down.
Well, we expected out of them.
Right, but they got another step to them right now.
Marino from Dawson, the hook. A little bit of Kareem action. Marino tried to go up for the block there, but Jones put it high off the glass and in. He's got 8, 68-47, 4:24 to play.
As I've said before, that will all change with maturity.
Burrell into Dawson, too easy. Or Marino, rather, not Dawson. Marino's got 7 this quarter, 11 and a half, 17 overall, and that happened in a hurry.
It did.
Because he was quiet offensively for a lot of the day. Long three is an air ball, rebounded by Burrell. GC has numbers. Burrell will take it the length of the court and lose it. Now pick it back up and hit the floater. Janias, 13 points. Not a lot of defense being played right now.
None.
A little bit more than the Scott County Holy Cross game.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I was looking back at the archives to see when, if ever, Scott County had given up 100. And then as soon as I started doing that, Holy Cross called off the Dogs, thankfully. Marino getting a good hand as he checks out, maybe for the last time today.
Got a nice game.
Yeah, 17 and I don't know how many rebounds, bunch of blocks. We'll get the stats when it's over. Spin by Chenault. Nice aggressive move, too little, too late. 5 points for Chenault in this quarter after being silenced all day. 72 to 49.
Athletic.
He is freakishly so.
Gracious.
He had a dunk last night. He got teed up for it from Boone, and that's another missing piece for Douglas too. You don't want to leave that out today, as he went out early with an injury. Chenault off an oop from Boone, and just the loudest dunk of the season that I've seen. And Godfrey rivaled that today with his first.
Oh, my goodness. As you can say, which one?
Yeah, he had 3 in a row, and then Marino with 2 after that. They played this game above the rim in the second half. Simpson gets up in the air and has to get rid of it for a 3. A feathery 3. A nice touch from Nagog over there. He's at 2 in a row. 72 to 52. 3:10 to go. West Jess has come back to tie the girls' game. Burrell to Dawson.
He keeps gambling.
Missed it.
Trying to get the ball.
Turned it over. As Simpson comes to the other end, there's a foul on the floor.
We're going to see Marino again. Here he comes.
All right. Who knew? 3-pointer heat check is no good. Actually, that wasn't Nagog. It was Carter, number 0. They throw it off of crossing to keep possession. Douglas down by 20, hasn't given up. Simpson lost it, regained it, fouled on the floor by Godfrey. That'll be a shooting 1-on-1 situation.
Simpson is a strong young man.
He hasn't scored in this fourth quarter. He's given it up to some of his teammates. He's got 20, a team high on the day. Busen, Jones with 8 apiece.
Simpson have any offers? Have you heard? I mean, I think
I believe he got one early, and I can't remember what it was for. I know I saw it on Twitter at some point. He's going to be.
I think he's a mid-south, mid-major.
I think he is definitely that perhaps A-Sun kind of.
Yep.
You just got that physical strength that
does.
makes him hard to knock off the ball. Boy, he'd look good in the Georgetown Tigers uniform,
yes,
though. You are right.
Yes, he would. He is also has a nice basketball IQ.
Yes, he does. And he's unselfish.
Right.
He takes it when he knows he can, and he knows that's the best play for his team. I like his game. And a offensive foul.
Yep. Malachi sticks that hip out.
That's his second. Warhawks not exactly sprinting to the finish line of this one, but they're up by a comfortable 18 with 2:24 to go. The margin of victory will end up being what it was last night, but it was 2 different types of games. That one was tied late. Simpson with a 3 that's off the mark, and the rebound comes down to Godfrey. Run some time, folks. Run some time. Godfrey with it into Marino. Nope. They're just going to keep pounding it. It's going to get stolen away by Simpson. Simpson over the top. A run out for Chenault. Missed it. Simpson hustling in. They're going to get goaltending. Kai Simpson with 24 points, and that was a hustle play by Simpson. He threw the outlet pass, and then you talk about the basketball IQ. Just kept running down the floor, and that's just effort. You got to love it. Godfrey pulls it back out to Blunt. Blunt loses the handle. Got to be careful here, Great Crossing. You were up 16, now under 2 minutes, but a turnover. And Burrell's going to come in to handle the ball. DJ Blunt will sit down. Steve Page won't be thrilled with the way they finished up here, but barring anything really crazy.
This is a tough one to play when you're not expecting, of course,
you get lulled to sleep a little bit. Chenault went up too strong with it. Off of Godfrey. Clock stops at 1:40.
Well, he gets off the floor.
He gets some elevation.
My goodness.
Sometimes I take pictures of him, and his vertical is crazy.
Is he a football player as well?
No, but he should be. I think he probably was at one time. Nagog blocked by Marino. He gets it back off an offensive board from Carter, and he will take it strong at Godfrey and draw the contact. The margin of victory in this one might actually be less than last night, which will be shocking, as Ngog has a chance. Ngog has a chance to cut it to 14. Leaves that one short. 87 seconds to play in the Billy Hicks Classic, at least on the boys' side. Girls' title went to Madison Southern. They're playing the consolation game now. West Jess up by 1 with 5 minutes left. Ngog makes the second. 15-point game. Burrell had the ball knocked out of his hands, regains it. Douglas getting handsy and aggressive the way they were the entire game last night, but it was just way too late today. And foul, a little hip check there as Burrell runs into number 30, Jones.
I think
Jones
they need to just continue feeding. Malachi works hard to get the ball in there. And just because, again, there's basically a minute to go in the game, I still like getting him touches.
All the time, as much as humanly possible. Janias Burrell going to get a chance to add to his 13-point total here at the foul line. His season high is 14 against Ashland. And he will equalize that by making the first. And rolls in the second as well. 74-57, 1:04 to play. Great Crossing Warhawks had a challenging schedule as we've got a 30-second timeout on the courts. Challenging schedule in the preseason, very challenging in week 1, and no shortage here in week 2 as they got through a district game against Franklin County, blew them out, really. The Flyers had no chance, started out something like 38-5. And a comfortable victory.
I'll tell you what, the Ashland game last Saturday night is one of the better high school games I've seen.
That was a high-level game.
Yes, it was. And if they had anything to match Malachi that night, that could have been
different. Yeah, but they certainly have no shortage of guys that can fill it up.
Absolutely, and they work the ball. I mean, you can tell those guys have played together for a long time.
That was a test. And then, of course, in the semifinal last night, they had no less than Mr. Jacob Meyer, who lit up everybody else in this tournament the past 2 years, but they contained him, I believe, 29, 28, 29.
I was going to say to a cool 30 maybe, almost.
Yeah, that was, he's going to get his.
I noticed about him as well. He uses both hands. You can't, until he went to the line and shot left-handed, I really didn't know he was left-handed.
He gets to the rack.
Yes, he does.
And can also shoot threes. Speaking of guys that can do that, Kai Simpson spins it behind his back. 45 seconds remaining. There's a foul on the floor. Both teams in the double bonus after that. So we'll be shooting for the remaining 42.9 seconds. I want to thank you all for joining us. As we said, we will get off the air quickly after this one, get down for the trophy ceremony. But you can continue watching that on NFHS. There'll be some ambient sound, I'm sure. You can hear who the all-tournament selections are as Carter makes the free throw, first of 2. I suspect Dawson Marino will probably be selections to that. And they probably get
Simpson.
3. So they probably get 3. So you might throw a Godfrey or a Burrell or even a Martin in there. Carter thought he made both. But anyway, 74-59. Now they put it up on the board.
Yes.
Under 30 seconds to play, and Burrell is going to go to the line as Simpson will grab him and get his money's worth here.
Yeah, Mr. Simpson, don't make things any worse here.
Steve Page clearing the bench. We'll announce their names as they don't get on the floor very often at the varsity level. Blake Bailey, Ryan Payne, Juju Hill, Jamari Mason, and Javante Dean will check in as soon as Burrell takes these free throws. Juju waiting to check in for Janias.
Nice game, Janias.
Second free throw. Very good tournament for Janias Burrell, who finishes today with 17 points. And that will lead the Warhawks in this championship game victory. Marino also had 17. Foul on the floor. Come on, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. A little hungry here.
Yeah. Wonder if the hospitality room's still open. Wonder if they got the leftovers. We can find out. Probably not. That was a brick of a free throw. He'll get another. Noah Jones has 8 points. The basketball gods didn't want him to get into double figures. He rolls that one in from 9. 76-60. Mason hits Payne. They'll play pass, 20 seconds. Dean. Hill lost it, had it stripped. Recovering it is Payne. I'm sorry, it was Bailey who had it before.
Juju Hill.
Jules Hill getting into the book. And another opportunity off a turnover, but that will do it. Your final score, the Billy Hicks Classic. Your champions, Great Crossing, 78. Frederick Douglass, 60. Any final words, Derek, before we sign off?
Congratulations, Coach Steve Page and the Great Crossing Warhawks. I mean, very impressive. They impress me every game that you and I have done, and every time I see them, even when I'm not on air, their sky is the limit, and excited to see them the rest of the year. Look forward to each game that I do, and I'll see you on Tuesday night.
See you on. You are doing Tuesday night.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, we will see you over there then for a doubleheader.
Yep.
For Derek Varney, for James Scoggin, for Mike Scoggin, for DT Wells, I'm Merely Callow saying good night, God bless. Thank you for joining us. Your final score one more time. Great Crossing 78, Frederick Douglass 60. The Warhawks are your Billy Hicks Classic champions, the 10th in the 27-year history of the tournament. Good night, everybody.